This story is about a woman who fell from the stars, not to conquer, but to challenge the greatest beast ever born. They called her Starborn, a traveler wrapped in fire, who crashed into a world ruled by an ancient dragon. But what no one knew was that her arrival would uncover a secret buried for centuries, a truth powerful enough to burn the stars themselves. So stay with us till the end, as we tell the legend of the woman who faced a god of fire and changed the fate of two worlds. The night sky tore open like broken glass. A trail of fire crossed the dark clouds and fell toward the valley. Villagers ran outside, pointing to the light from the heavens. It was not a star. It was something else, something alive. When the object hit the ground, the earth shook. A wave of dust and heat rolled through the hills. For a moment, there was only silence. Then, a metal door hissed open. From the smoke, a woman stepped out. Her armor glowed faint blue, and her eyes shone brighter than any flame. The people watching from the hills whispered in fear and wonder. Some called her a goddess. Others said she was a weapon. She looked around, confused but calm. The air here was heavier, the sky darker than she remembered. Her small wrist device blinked weakly and spoke in a broken voice. Human colony, not found. Her heart sank. She was lost. This was not the world she was supposed to land on. She took one slow breath, feeling the wind carry the scent of smoke and stone. Then the ground trembled again. A deep thunder-like roar came from the distant mountains. It wasn't the storm. It was alive. The villagers fell to their knees, praying. The woman looked toward the sound, her hand resting on the glowing spear at her side. Another roar echoed, closer this time. The air itself seemed to shiver. She knew what it was before she saw it. A dragon. Her lips curved into a small, fearless smile. "If this is your world," she whispered, "then let's see if you can guard it from me." The mountain woke before the sun. Rocks slid. Snow hissed. Birds exploded from the trees as if the forest itself was afraid. She stood in the crater's ash, helmet off, hair streaked with starlight. Her ship's core ticked like a dying heart behind her. The villagers watched from far away, small as shadows on the ridge. No one dared speak. They knew what came next. A wind rose, cold, sharp, and wrong. It smelled of old storms and older bones. Then the sound arrived. Not a roar yet. A pressure. A deep drum inside the earth. Boom, boom, boom! She lifted her spear. The tip hummed. Her visor marked a shape in the clouds, too large, too fast, too sure of its sky. The shape folded its wings and fell. He landed like a falling temple. Stone cracked. Fire bled from his teeth. His scales were not red or black. They were the color of night when a city loses power. Endless, hungry, quiet. His eyes, though. His eyes were suns gone angry. He did not roar first. He looked. He measured her. He measured the hole in the ground, the broken ship, the crowd that trembled. He tasted the metal in the air and the fear in their throats. When he finally spoke, the words were old and heavy, yet they reached her through the translator with perfect bite. "Starborn," he said. "You are not welcome." She didn't flinch. "I came by accident." "There are no accidents that fall in fire," the dragon said. "Leave this valley. Leave this sky. Leave this world." Or, his wings opened. The sun dimmed behind them. Shadows stretched like spears across the ash. "Or I end your legend before it begins." A single scale on his chest lifted, revealing a scar like a lightning bolt trapped in flesh. Her visor tagged it, traced heat, mapped pain. Someone had hurt him once. Someone very strong. She lowered her spear a fraction. "Who gave you that?" The dragon's pupils narrowed to razor points. "You did," he said, and the mountain shook again, because something older than both of them was waking under their feet. The ground pulsed like a slow heartbeat. Dust sifted from the crater walls. Pebbles rattled. Somewhere deep below, metal sang. She steadied her breath. "I hurt you. When?" The dragon's gaze did not leave her. "A long time for you. A day for me. Time breaks around starfall." Her visor flashed new signals. Unknown power lines under the valley, a grid older than the village, still alive. She walked, step by step, toward a half-buried arch of black stone near the crater's edge. The arch hummed when her shadow touched it. Words appeared on her visor, Old Earth script, half-rotten, Therian relay, no access, human priority lock. The villagers crossed themselves and backed away. They had seen that arch all their lives. None had dared to touch it. She lifted a gauntlet and pressed her palm to the cold surface. The stone became glass. A corridor grew beneath the valley, lights waking, doors blooming open like steel flowers. Air flowed up, sweet and filtered, like the breath of a sleeping city. Her name, her family name, rolled across the arch in pale blue. The dragon's claws scraped rock. "Do not go below," he warned. "You are the storm that broke this place once." "I don't remember," she said. "But I will." She stepped inside. Stairs spiraled down. Her footsteps echoed. Holograms flickered, maps, warnings, faces she almost knew. She passed skeletons of machines and murals cut into the walls, ships arriving, towers growing, then fire consuming the sky. A last mural showed a dragon coiled around a cradle of light. She stopped. In the center hall, a cradle stood, an open pod scorched black, glass cracked, cables torn. Her scanner beeped, soft and steady. Human DNA present. Recent. She looked up at the mural again. The dragon in the carving was not a monster. It was a shield. The mountain trembled harder. Above, stone split like ice. The dragon's roar thundered down the corridor. Not anger. "A warning! Back, Starborn! The warden wakes!" From the floor, old vents snapped open. Cold mist spilled out. A second system crawled to life, one that did not speak her language. Its voice was a whisper of knives. "Intruder! Erase!" She raised her spear as red lights turned the hall into blood. The dragon tore into the passage. He did not strike her. He stood in front of her, between her and the dark, and he breathed, "Run." The warden woke like a storm inside metal. Red lights spun. Sirens cut the air. Hidden walls slid open and old machines crawled out, thin, sharp, built to kill. Their eyes were white knives. Their arms were drills and fire. The dragon moved first. He slammed his body between her and the machines. Flame rolled from his jaws and turned the first wave into ash. Steel screamed. Sparks rained like hot snow. She did not waste his shield. Her spear opened with a snap. 3 glowing blades locking into one. She leapt to the side, jetpack whispering, and cut a drone in half. Oil smoked. Circuits died. Another machine lunged. She ducked, stabbed, and rode it down like a falling horse. The warden spoke through every vent, every wire. "Protocol. Purge. Human error detected. Reset world." "Not today," she said and threw a disc. It stuck to the ceiling and bloomed a hard blue shield over the corridor. Lasers hit it and bent away, burning the walls instead of her. The dragon battered forward, wings scraping stone, claws carving trenches in the floor. One machine, huge, spider-like, leapt and pinned his throat. He roared and the tunnel shook. She shot the spider's joint and freed him. He cut the rest with a sweep of his tail. They fought like they had trained together for years. He learned her rhythm. She learned his rage, still. The warden adapted. New turrets pushed from the ceiling. They did not aim for her. They aimed for him. The system had chosen its enemy. "Why protect me?" she asked, firing, moving, breathing smoke. "Because you left something here," he said, eyes burning. "And I swore by fire to guard it." "What did I leave?" "Not a thing." His gaze flicked to the deeper door, locked with a seal that matched the crest on her armor. "A life." The floor buckled. A massive gate at the far end cracked open inches only, but enough to spill a faint, warm glow into the blood-red hall. It was not machine light. It was softer, human. Her visor sang a new tone, high, clear, hopeful. Vital sign detected. The warden's voice fell to a cold whisper. Target found. She and the dragon looked at each other once. No words. Only trust made in flame. "Then we move," she said. And together they charged the light. The gate shuddered and opened like a slow mouth. Warm light poured out, soft, golden, alive. Not alarm light, not weapon light, a nursery glow. She stepped through first, spear low. The dragon followed, folding his wings to fit the narrow arch. The new chamber was round, quiet, and clean, despite the ruin outside. The air smelled like rain after a long fire. In the center stood a cradle. Not wood, not stone, but a small pod wrapped in clear glass and silver veins. Frost laced the edges. Inside, a tiny hand pressed weakly against the pane. Her visor chimed. Human, infant, stable, fating. Her chest tightened. She had crossed stars for missions that meant numbers and flags, but this was a heartbeat. The dragon lowered his head until one golden eye filled the glass. His breath fogged the surface. He did not roar. He hummed, deep and warm, like a mountain singing to a seed. Yours, he said. She blinked. Mine! Your crest marks the seal. Your blood opens the door. She looked down. The pod's lock did match the small crest on her armor, the same crest from family stories told on cold ship nights. A lost branch, a vanished outpost, a promise to return. Her gauntlet shook as she placed her palm on the seal. Click! The glass slid back with a sigh. The infant stirred, eyes fluttering like new wings. A soft cry filled the room. It was the smallest sound she had ever heard, and it crushed her like a giant wave. Hello, she whispered, voice breaking. I am late, but I'm here. The floor vibrated. Red letters crawled up the far wall. Purge incomplete. Remove anomaly. From hidden slots, thin blades unfolded, gleaming with clean hate. The dragon moved, but she grabbed his horn, stopping him. No fire, she said. Smoke will choke the child. He understood. He turned, placing his body as a wall. Metal flashed and struck his scales. Sparks leapt. He held. She worked fast, rerouting power from her dying ship core, snapping cables to the cradle, overriding ancient code with stubborn human will. The warden fought her lines. She fought back with teeth-clenched patience. Live, she told the pod. Live long enough to choose your world. The monitors warmed. The infant's breath grew steady. A tiny fist wrapped around her finger. For a second, the war ended inside her. Then the blades retracted. Not victory. A change. The chamber darkened. The warden's voice returned, quiet and close, as if it stood behind her ear. Guardian protocol engaged. Remove the dragon! Turrets rotated. Every barrel swung away from her and locked on him. He did not move. He only glanced at her, and in that look she saw truth. The scar on his chest, the years of waiting, the oath no one heard. I can take it, he said. She lifted her spear. No, not while I breathe. And the room filled with red light and the sound of a mother learning to be a shield. The turrets clicked as one. Cold red dots walked across the dragon's chest. He did not bow. He only widened his stance, wings curving around the cradle like a shield. Metal shook with his breath. He was ready to die where he stood. She was not ready to watch it. Warden, she said, voice steady. Reassign target. Denied. She glanced at the cradle. The infant slept now, warm and safe. A soft blue light pulsed like a tiny star. Her ship's core, wired into the pod, hummed on the edge of failure. Her visor showed a map of the room, power lines, vents, weak walls, kill zones. There was one path. It was cruel. It was clean. She pulled the core cable from the cradle and locked it to her suit. The dragon's head snapped toward her. No, I was born in fire, she said gently. Let me carry it. The turret spun up. The air turned sharp. She ran, not away, through. Shots cracked. She dropped to a knee, slid under the first barrage, and came up throwing a shield disc. It blossomed overhead, catching a rain of lasers that would have stripped a mountain. The floor smoked. The smell of hot stone filled her lungs. The warden changed angle. New barrels slid from the walls. She counted beats. 1, 2, move, jump, roll. Her spear sang as it cut a line of machines from shoulder to steel. Sparks became stars. The core in her chest screamed. Power spilled down her arms, through her ribs, into her bones. Her HUD faded, then flared. Warnings stacked like falling cards. Overcurrent, core break, life cost, high. She reached the center column, the heart of the warden, and pressed her palm to the cold plate. It rejected her. She pressed harder. The crest on her gauntlet heated until it burned. "Access," she gasped. "By blood. By name." Locks clicked. The column opened, bright as noon. She pulled her spear, set it to overload, and shoved it into the light. The warden finally sounded afraid. "Abort. Abort." "Too late," she whispered, smiling like a stubborn star. She turned once, looked at the dragon, at the tiny pod behind his wing. He stared back, fire in his eyes and water too. "Guard them," she said. Then she drove her charged fist into the core and let the power take her. Light burst. Sound vanished. The world became white, pure, endless, fierce. When sight returned, the turrets hung dead. The sirens were silent. The warden's voice was gone. She lay on the floor, armor black and cracked, smoke curling from the seams. Her chest plate was open to the air, no glow, no hum. The dragon lowered his head until his brow touched the ground beside her. "You kept your fire," he said, voice shaking. Her eyes opened, soft and tired. "I passed it on." The infant stirred in the cradle, alive, calm, safe. Outside, the mountain finally stopped trembling. Inside, only 3 heartbeats remained. Silence held the chamber like a closed hand. She tried to stand and fell to one knee. The suit was dull metal now, no starfire left. The dragon bent low, his wing a roof over her and the child. "Rest," he said. "Not yet," she whispered. Her visor flickered one last map, lines of old tunnels, rooms, codes. The warden was dead, but its roots still slept under the mountain. If raiders came, if storms came, this cradle would need a guardian stronger than stone. She pressed her palm to the floor. "Final command," she said. "Wake the harbor." The mountain answered. Soft blue veins lit the walls, grew outward, up through bedrock into shattered halls. Doors sealed, vents cleared. The nursery became a small, living city. Quiet, warm, hidden. The dragon watched with wide eyes. "You build a nest from light," he murmured. "For him," she said, looking at the child. "And for you." Her breath grew thin. The core had taken more than power. It had taken years she had not yet lived. She slid back against the pod and placed a hand on the glass. The tiny fingers curled around her shadow. "Listen," she told the dragon, voice soft but iron. "Teach him 2 truths. Fire can destroy. Fire can keep you alive. He must choose the second first." The dragon's head lowered until his eye met hers. "By flame and sky, I swear it." Footsteps echoed. Villagers, bold now that the earth was still. They saw the cradle. They saw the dragon guarding, not hunting. They saw the woman of stars, pale but smiling. "Do not fear," she said. "This mountain is a harbor. Guard it as home." Outside, night open like a book. Above the peak, a single beacon rose, her last signal pointing to the heavens. A rescue fleet would find it someday, or maybe not. It did not matter. The harbor would hold, her eyes closed. For a breath, the armor stayed dark. Then, one small spark. Not flame. Memory. The suit recorded a voice. A message woven into light and fed it into the beacon. Years later, when children asked why the dragon watched their valley and why the mountains sang on winter nights, the elders played that message. It was her voice. "I fell from the stars to break a weapon," she said, calm as dawn. "Instead, I found a family. If you hear me, remember, strength is not the roar. Strength is the hand that shields." On clear nights, they say a faint blue figure walks the ridge. Just a shimmer, just a smile, and a great shadow keeps pace beside her. The child grows. The dragon teaches. The harbor breathes, and the legend lives. If you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, HFY Legends, so every new legend finds its way to you.